Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maha and my channel name is Brighter Days Aviary. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be alerted of new videos because I make a bunch of bird videos, and if you guys have any suggestions, leave them down below. So today I'm going to be talking about button quails and a button quail. I'm basically going to give you guys the ultimate button quail care guide from my brain, so you know it's gonna be good, guys. It's gonna be good. So basically I have my tank here with my 5 button quails, and I have another tank here with 2 button quails, but this is the main tank that y'all are gonna be seeing. And if you guys want to see how I set up this tank, then you can go in the description box down below or right here in the side. It's gonna have a little pop-up thing come out and you guys can click it, and that is how I set up my tank. This is a 40-gallon breeder tank. So, to start off, I'm just basically going to go over what button quails are. Button quails are these little itty-bitty birds right behind me. And they're literally super tiny. They're probably like this. Well, now this looks big, but like compare this to my head, they're probably half the size of my head. And my head is not big. So, you know, they're like super tiny. And actually, no, maybe 1/3 the size of my head. Yeah, 1/3 the size of my head. So basically, button quails are tiny little quails, and they're the smallest quail of all the quail species. That's why they're called button quails. And they're small, they're cute, and they make this adorable little crowing sound. It sounds like, I don't know if it sounds like a chicken, but I never had a chicken in my life. But they make these cute little crowing sounds. Adorable. So cute. So they're very great apartment pets, since obviously apartment or condo or whatever, like very small space kind of pet, because they're literally, it's not like a dog where it's going to be running around, or a cat where the cat's going to be running around or whatever. Like they're literally going to be in their little tank in their home, and they're not going to get out. So they're great observational pets. If you want a pet that you want to like touch and take out and like, I don't know, hold or whatever, button quails are not the ones for you, because they're mostly just observational pets and they don't like to be touched or like manhandled or like grabbed or whatever. My button quails, they're okay with getting grabbed, but not for long periods of time. Like if I grabbed them, it would just kind of be like a little pet on the head, and then I put them back or whatever. But they're really good. They're very inexpensive pets overall. A button quail normally costs between $5 to $10. I would say the average being about $7. So US money, that is. So they're not expensive at all. And as far as like upkeeping and maintenance and like the general long-term expenses, it's not that much at all. And they're very pleasant pets. So as far as lifespan and life expectancy, they don't live that long. I would say they live between 2 to 5 years. Females live 3 to 4, I would say about 2 to 4 years, while males live about 3 to 5 years. So males generally live a little bit longer, but not by much. Okay, so after I give you guys a little overview, by the way, if you hear like blabbering, that's my Amazon parrot, and if you hear chirping, those are my lovebirds. Over there I have like a gazillion birds in my room. But yeah, just, you know, that's background noise. Don't even listen to that, you know. So I'm a really big, I'm a biggie when it comes to cage and tank sizes, etc. Like I'm super big on that, because I firmly believe you need to get the biggest tank you can get, or biggest cage you can get for your animals, especially for birds, because I don't know, maybe because I love birds so much, but it's just like a moral thing. You want to get them as much as you can afford, and if you cannot get them a big place to live, literally please do not buy a bird at all, any species of bird, because that is going to be their home, that is going to be where they are for a lot of the time, and you need to make sure that they have a big home. I'm just generalizing birds in general. So button quails, if you're going to get 2 button quails, and by the way, button quails are very social animals. You cannot get one by itself. You seriously cannot, unless you want a dead button quail within like a week, because they will literally die of loneliness, and it's so sad. So you do not want to get just one. And if you can only afford just one, don't get any at all. Save your money until you get two, okay? Because if you get a button quail, especially a male button quail, he will literally crow, and females too, they will literally crow and crow and crow and crow and crow, expecting a reply back, and just crow and crow constantly until they like fall dead, because they're just, I don't know, they're just so sad and like depressed. So always get 2 quails. If you can, get a whole group, but minimum should be 2 quails. No exceptions at all. I don't care. No exceptions. Okay? I'm watching you. I'm watching you. So basically, a tank is best. I would not recommend a cage just because they can sometimes get their head stuck through the bars, or get their legs stuck through the bar, or a body part, their wings stuck through a bar, or whatever, because they're not the smartest of all the bird species, just to let you know. So you just don't want to get them a cage, and also just for your sake, they tend to kick up their bedding a lot. So if you don't want bedding all over your house and all around the room, then just get them a tank, I promise. And plus with a tank, you can literally see where they all are at all times, because it's like glass. So that being said, for 2 quails, I recommend a 20-gallon long tank, no less, no exceptions, no 10-gallon tank, nothing. You need to get them a 20-gallon long tank if you're getting 2 quails. If you're getting 3 or more, so more than 2 quails, then you're going to need bigger than a 20-gallon long. So I would say you can try and keep 3 quails and a 20-gallon long, but just because of the odd number, I don't think they would get along, because kind of one quail will kind of feel left out. Like 2 quails will buddy-buddy with each other, and then one quail would be kind of left out. So I would always recommend having an even number of quails at all times, or at least for most of the time. So always recommend even number of quails, and if you're getting 4 or more quails, you need to get a 40-gallon breeder, because that's just, you know, the more space the better, and it's going to be best for your quails, especially if you have 4 or more. The most I would say you can try and stuff in a 40-gallon breeder. God. Right now I have 5, and I think that's the perfect number, so I would say no more than 7 button quails in a 40-gallon breeder, because they do need their space, because if they're crammed, they will fight, and you will have bloody and dead button quails, and that is not fun, I promise you. So as far as bedding, I always recommend Carefresh bedding, but obviously the Carefresh bedding is super expensive, especially if you're having a big tank like this. You're going to need so much bedding to fill in that tank. So the next best option would be for pine shavings. But just make sure before you after you put in your pine shavings, just kind of ruffle it around, because the dust can like escape, because it's the dust that bothers their respiratory systems. So just like ruffle it around, make sure all the dust is gone, and if you can, let it set for about 12 to 24 hours, and then all the dust will be pretty much almost gone. And the way that I do it is I literally, no joke, stick my head in the tank, and if I smell a difference, like if I can sense that there's dust and my nose is getting irritated, I don't put my button quails in. And I wait until everything has set and I don't smell anything, and then I put my head back in, and then I realize, okay, it's cool, I don't smell anything. And then you can put your quails in. So that is the best solution as far as when it comes to pine shavings. Just make sure you ruffle it around and it sets so they don't breathe in the dust from the pine shavings. So when it comes to food, you want to get game bird crumble. So in general, protein and calcium are the things that you need to make sure that they get like the most of. And I'm not sure, I think it's either 21% or 23% of protein that needs to be in the game bird crumble. The game bird crumble that I have is 21%, so I like to give them mealworms, because mealworms are really good when it comes to protein. So I give them some mealworms, but mealworms also have a high fat content. So you don't want to give them too many mealworms. I would say like 4 per quail per day is like the maximum, and you should try and aim for 2 mealworms a day. So 2 mealworms is, I think, perfect. It'll give them the protein that they need. and it will also not give them too much fat because they don't need the excess fat. Especially if they're in a tank, they have a limited place to roam, so it's not like they're going to be like burning that fat up. So as far as cuddle bones, I recommend cuddle bones and oyster shells. And you can crush up the oyster shells. For the most part, they already sell them crushed up. So you can give them the oyster shells and the cuddle bone, and they'll like peck at it and eat it until it's like completely gone. And the females, like I said, they need calcium because, and like I said, they're literally egg laying machines. No joke, they're egg laying machines. Like they will literally lay an egg every other day, or at least the females are constant egg layers. Like lay an egg every other day. It doesn't matter if it's not fertile. It doesn't matter if they don't have a mate or not. Like they will lay eggs. They're literally little egg laying machines. It's so cute. Like right now, my female, she doesn't have a mate in there. She's the mom of the 4 babies. There's 4 babies in there. Well, not really babies. They're not babies anymore. But her 4 children and then the mother. And even when she, I was about to say gave birth to her children. Even when her children hatched, she still is laying eggs. And I have to take those eggs away because she'll try and incubate them. And obviously they're not fertile, so I just take them away anyways because there's no point in having the eggs in the tank. So literally, to keep up with her egg layingness, you literally need to be providing the female button quails with calcium, because if they don't have enough calcium in their diet, then they're going to take the calcium from their bones into the egg, and then their bones will become weak, and then they're more prone to like breaking their legs or like hurting themselves, and that's just not fun, and they're more prone to, in general, death because they won't have enough nutrients in their body. So like I said, you will need a non-plant-based protein. That can be mealworms, earthworms, superworms, other kinds of worms. It can even be crickets. I personally love seeing them chase after the crickets, and it kind of gives them a little bit of like how life is like in the wild, because they're going to be chasing after their food, especially like the bugs and stuff like that. And the mealworms I give them, my god, they're like making a racket over here. Hey, excuse me, I'm trying to film. That's very rude. So anyway, like I was saying, they need the mealworms I give them, they're already dead, so it's not like they're like hunting the mealworms. So if you can give them live crickets, that will be great. And like I said, in a tank, the crickets can be contained and they won't be like going out everywhere via a cage. They're gonna like crawl through the bars, and you're gonna have loose crickets all over your house, and that's clearly not fun. Trust me, it's not fun. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is their water. So button quails need clean water 24/7. No exceptions. And I know sometimes, like me personally, I change their water once a day in the morning and once a day. Well, technically not once a day. Twice a day. Once in the morning and once at night before I go to bed. So once in the morning right when I wake up, and once before I go to bed. And because they need clean water. They need to drink water, because if they don't have access to any water in 24 hours, they will literally be dead. No joke. Don't try and test this out. I didn't try and test it out. I don't want to try and test it out. But if you leave them for 24 hours, not even more than 24 hours, once it hits that 24-hour mark, then like be expected to come home to dead button quails. And the thing is that they kick up their bedding all over the place. And if you saw in my quail like tank setup video, I put in rocks right here. And they kick, as you can see now, you don't see rocks. Like you barely see any rocks because they kicked up bedding over the rocks. So you literally, and they kick up bedding in their water bowl too. So right now there's probably some bedding in their water bowl. But you just want to make sure they have access to water all the time. And honestly, it would be incredibly stupid to like lose your animal because you didn't provide them for a basic necessity, which is water. Like, I'm sure you would just feel absolutely horrible when you come and like find your quail dead, because you were like, yeah, no, I'll give them water in like an hour, and then an hour turns into a day, and then the next day you come and they're like dead. That would be absolutely horrible. So please save yourself the horror and just clean their water every day. Please, thank you, thank you, thank you. So another thing that is pretty important is to put rocks or marbles in their water. And that serves two purposes. The first purpose is if they step in the water won't go like high enough. It will just kind of like stay on their legs. So if the water doesn't go high enough, then less chance for them to like get wet. And then if they get wet, then there's a chance for like them getting sick. So just make sure you put rocks or like marbles in their water, just so when they step in it, the water doesn't like touch their belly feathers or anything. Especially if you have babies, because babies, they can easily drown in their water bowl. So you just have to make sure you put something in their water bowl. And also, I don't know if it's true or not, but a lot of button quail keepers, and in my experience as well, if you put marbles or rocks in their water, they tend to drink more. I don't know why that's the case, but you always want to make sure that they drink more, because water is super duper important to a quail's life in general. They need mental stimulation, they need enrichment. You can't just like stick them in a tank and they have nothing to do. Like, they need something to do. So one thing can be giving them live food, so they can like hunt their food and chase their food around, so they can have some mental stimulation. And another thing is providing them fake flowers or fake plants. Like here I have 7 fake plants, and every single time I clean out their tank, which would be every, I don't know, I would say a week to 2 weeks, depending on how bad it gets. Not really how bad it gets, but depending on when they need it, whether it be 1 week to 2 weeks, I always change around their plants, so just so it's kind of like a new environment when I put them back in their tank. And also another thing you should know that I did not say in the overview is their poop smells disgusting, like horrible. Like the amount of pneumonia in their poop is just horrendous. So literally their poop is going to smell absolutely horrible, so you need to be on top of that cleaning if you want to be keeping them inside your house, because literally like your whole freaking house is going to be smelling like quail poop, and that's not even cool. So you need to be on top of cleaning. Like, there comes a certain point where you smell the poop, and once you start smelling the poop, you're long overdue. You're like overdue from a cleaning. So if it gets to the point where you actually smell their poop, like if you just put their head over their tank and you smell their poop coming out, then you are overdue for a tank cleanup, and you need to clean that tank ASAP. And you smelling it is just horrible. Like, imagine them living in it and they're smelling it 24/7. Like, I just can't imagine. That must be horrible. It's like you sitting in your own poop and smelling your own poop, and like sleeping in your own poop and eating in your own poop. Like, that's nasty. So you just want to make sure that you're on top of cleaning their tank, because their poop smells bad. And they poop a lot. They eat a lot and they poop a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. So just provide them with like things to do. Provide them with like logs and burrows and fake plants, and just something that they can like step on top of, go under. Like, they love like going around plants and, you know, going on top of plants and whatever. And also provide them with a dust bath. And I took it out for this cleaning, but normally I have a bowl and I just put a mixture of sand and grit, and they literally go in there and they like flap their little feathers. It's the cutest thing, and it feels super good on their hair follicles. It's like, I don't know, it's like basically us taking a shower. They take a dust bath, and it feels really good on their skin, and they absolutely love it. So just try and provide for them a bowl. Obviously, it's not supposed to be a shallow bowl, kind of like a big enough bowl where they can hop in and like dust bath themselves without the sand or the dust coming out of the bowl. And trust me, you will have a super happy button quail if you do that. Like, my button quails, when I had the bowl in the morning at like 7 in the morning, I would hear their little feathers ruffling, and it's so cute. And I would kind of like wake up sleepily and like look over, because they're literally right next to my bed. Like, my bed is like right here. My bed is literally right there, like right next to my bed. So I literally hear every single thing they do. And they also wake me up in the middle of the night with their crows, which kind of gets annoying, but you know, I just like tap on the glass. I'm like, shh, I'm trying to sleep. And then they like be quiet. It's so cute. So when it comes to the males and female ratio, I would always recommend, not always recommend, you have to have more males, or I'm sorry, more females than males, because let's say you have one female and two males. First of all, the males are going to be fighting with themselves over the female, and the male is going to be fighting the female. I don't know why they'll be fighting the female, but it has happened that the males will fight the male for the female, and then let's say the other male mates with the female, then one of them would like get jealous and then fight the female, as in like, no, you're mine, you're not his. And then, you know, that just causes so many problems, and the poor female is going to be getting like courted by two males, so, you know, that's always never fun. And she's going to be getting fought over, and it's going to be like really, really bad for her. So you just want to make sure that you get more females to males, like the female and male ratio needs to be more females, less males. And also, when they reach sexual maturity is when their aggression comes out a little more, and then that's when they start, obviously, in their flock, that's when they develop a pecking order. So you're going to tend to notice that there's going to be kind of one alpha, if we're talking in like wolf terms, one alpha, and then there's going to be the lower quails on the pecking order list, and then you're going to notice that the quail highest on the list is going to be kind of being mean to the other quails. That's just how things are in the wild. But you can obviously try and prevent this by giving them enough space, and this is where having a big tank comes in, because like I said, if you have a small tank, they're going to be like stepping over each other's toes, not literally, but figuratively, stepping over each other's toes, and maybe literally, stepping over each other's toes, and they're just going to be fighting with each other constantly. They might be fighting over food, might be fighting over water, might be fighting over females, might be fighting over territory. Like, they're literally going to be fighting nonstop, and you will have bloody and dead button quails. And when it comes to button quails, it's not like, let me fight you for 2 seconds and then we're done fighting. Like, it's constant fighting to the death. And they can cause some really bad damage to each other. So please, please, please get them a proper sized tank. If you don't want dead animals, please, like, I'm literally begging you, please get a proper sized tank for your quails, because that is, like, their space is literally, I firmly believe that the tank, how big their home is, it can solve so many problems when it comes to aggression and, like, fighting each other. So please get them a proper tank. Thank you. So like I said before, females are literally egg-laying machines. They will lay eggs every other day for, like, the rest of their life or until they grow old. And they won't stop laying eggs. And, like, for example, my female now, so far she had one successful clutch of eggs that she hatched by herself. And, you know, she did a fabulous job as a mom. Like, good job. Props to you, girl. Props to you. And literally, her chicks are, I don't know, I would say like a month and a half old, 2 months old, around there. I'm not entirely sure. If I need to correct myself, I'll put it right here. So they're a few months old. So literally already she started laying eggs. And even when they were a few weeks old, she started laying eggs, and she tried incubating them, but obviously they weren't fertile, so I just took them out. But she keeps laying more eggs, and right now she has a little nest going for her. I think right here, she has like a little nest. And yeah, she's like looking at her nest. She's right there. The little white one. She's so cute. I love her so much. But yeah, she got a little nest going over there with, like, I think 5 eggs. I'm just going to take them out in a little bit. Probably not today, probably tomorrow. I'm just going to take them out because they're not fertile. So she doesn't need to be incubating them. And when a female incubates, she literally does not move from her eggs. Like, there was a point where I was actually worried, and I brought the food to her because she wasn't moving. I brought the food in the water bowls right next to her. She would just, like, kind of get up, like, eat, and then go back to incubating her eggs. So she's a very good mom, very loyal mom, but quails in general are very good moms. Once they start incubating, they will not get up until those babies hatch. So I think I covered, like, pretty much everything that I need to cover, and this video is probably going to be super long. But as you can tell, I love my button quails, and of course, I just want to inform you guys on the proper information when it comes to button quails. If you guys want to go get them, they're great pets, great observational pets, so cute. Their crows are adorable, no joke, you guys. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about button quails, you guys can go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I would not classify myself as an expert by no means, but I do know more than like 99% of the world's population about button quails. So I didn't even know they existed until I saw them at a pet expo, a bird expo, and then I was like, wow, they are so cute. And like I said, it was an impulse buy. Totally bad. Don't do that, please. Don't be an impulse buy. Do research before you get an animal. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like this video so I know that you guys are loving the content so far. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see everyone in my next video. Bye guys.